Hi, welcome to the Victoria Knits podcast. I'm Victoria, and yes, I have a little bit of laryngitis. I've had a cold for a while, but I'm getting over it. So, as you can see, this podcast is going to be a true on-the-road podcast. I am in Northwest Washington State. I will be driving across Washington, northern Washington, through the panhandle of Idaho, and then home to northwest Montana. It'll be at least an 8-hour trip, probably a little longer because I plan on podcasting along the way. It's very rainy right now. I am at Snoqualmie Falls, and I will show you that falls in a little bit. It's very beautiful, and it was definitely worth the stop. I missed the hardest rain while I was watching it, so that's great. Probably the first thing everybody wants to know is who won the yarn from my last podcast. And the winner of the pink yarn is Lynda.
Yaka.
Say Lynda.
Yaka.
And her big challenge was podcasting. She said that was one of the things that was most outside her comfort zone. And she is, of course, the originator of the Joey Scarf podcast. So congratulations, Lynda. That's really great. Thank you for entering. And the winner of the Seattle colored yarn is, you say, Valerie. Valerie. Valerie said the thing that was most outside her comfort zone was agreeing to substitute as a facilitator of a small group discussion class at her church. And I have taught a one-time class one time, and it is a challenge, and so I totally get that. So congratulations, Valerie, on winning that yarn. And I have contacted both the winners. Valerie, if you're watching this, I did send you a message on Ravelry, and I haven't heard back from you yet. But if you could private message me your address either on Instagram or on Ravelry, that would be great, and I'd get that yarn out to you. I want to thank everybody for entering and for all your great comments. I read them all, and I really love them all. Podcasting is great, but it's not fun to feel like you're speaking to no one, and so comments are always appreciated, and I really enjoyed them all, and I read every one at least a couple times. So thanks everybody for entering. So yeah, I am podcasting from inside my car right now because I wanted to do it outside, but it's the rain's really coming down, and that wouldn't have been a great idea. So here we go on our little road trip. I hope you enjoy it. Roughly near mid-Washington State is this art sculpture called Grandfather Cuts Loose the Ponies. It consists of 15 life-size steel horses, which appear to be galloping across a ridge above the Columbia River. And here is what they overlook. It's beautiful. Hi. So I've been driving for about 5 hours and I am just outside of Spokane, Washington, which is in the very eastern part of Washington state. I'm about to enter the Idaho Panhandle. Northern Idaho and Washington state are both on Pacific time, unlike southern Idaho, which is on Mountain time. So the drive's been going okay. You can see the Spokane River behind me. It's pretty here. Got some low mountains and some pine trees, some fields, a little snow in the mountains. It's pretty. Well, let's talk knitting. What have I gotten done since I've been on my trip? Well, I did find a nice box for Russell's adult socks, and I managed to finish those adult socks. I feel pretty good about that. I got them finished. This is the Porthos pattern, and just to be clear, I did not follow the size the pattern calls for. I think they want you to cast on like 80 stitches. I did not do that. I did as the Women at Wet Coast Wools podcast suggested, 64, and that seemed to fit both my husband's feet and Russell's father's feet. So I think that'll work out really well for him. I do like the way they turned out. I think it's a very pretty pattern. So onward to northern Idaho. I'm going to cross the Panhandle pretty soon, but I do plan on stopping once before I get through there at least. So see you then. And here's just a short view of a little bit of downtown Spokane. This is Lake Coeur d'Alene. It's in the city of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. The city is about 45,000 people, and the lake is 25 miles in length and 1 to 3 miles wide with 109 miles of shoreline. It's beautiful and very popular. Hi, I'm at almost the northernmost point of the Idaho Panhandle. It's called Bonner's Ferry. There's a river behind me. I'm just about to go up that hill. It's a little tiny town. We are just a few miles south of the Canadian border. I'm going to come very close to the Canadian border before I swing around and go into Montana next. So I also wanted to talk a little bit more about knitting. You remember that this podcast originally was, the wind tried to knock my iPad off. You remember this podcast was originally about keeping up with my Christmas knitting, helping me do that. Well, I did manage to get some of that done while I've been on my trip. I started a pair of socks for my friend Camille. And I'm doing that same Porthos pattern on these, and I'll put the yarn I'm using at the bottom, and I really like the way they're turning out. I think they're very pretty. I think it's really going nicely. So I've got the first one finished for him, and I'm starting on the next one, and I will tell you more about my friend Camille as we go along. So here comes Montana. This is my friend Camille with Russell. I met Camille at work. We became friends. He became my French teacher for a while. He speaks Arabic, English, French, and Spanish. He's a very good cook. He has come over to our house and made great Moroccan food for us. And he is one of the nicest people I know. Hi. One last video before I reach home. I am nearly there. The wind still wants to blow this iPad off my car. I am at Loon Lake. Like I said, I'm about a mile from the house. It's chilly out. It's getting to be night. It's been a long drive, but I've enjoyed it quite a bit. I wanted to show you one item for my birthday that is knitting related. My friend Carol made me these felted mittens. They're lovely. They're going to be very warm for this coming winter. Thank you so much, Carol. She made them in colors that I love because she knows me well. We've been friends for a long, long, long time. Carol took me out for my for a birthday lunch while I was in Boise. It was really nice, and she gave me these wonderful mittens she felted. I have never felted before. I love them. And here comes the sun. So, the rest of this video will show what I've been doing while I was in Seattle visiting my son and daughter-in-law and their 2 children.